G'day guys, welcome to the channel. Today we wanted to run you through some real basics for caravanning. We've been on the road now for 2.5 years and in that time we've seen a lot of people miss very simple things that doing these last minute checks could solve a lot of those problems, say like windows open, legs down, stuff like that. So we're going to run you through the basics before you leave your caravan park or the site or home or whatever, how you set up the inside for travel, how you set up the outside, and those last checks that you can do, hitching up and everything. So let's get inside. Clem's just finishing off inside. We'll run you through all the things that she does, and then I tend to do the outside. So we'll come back out here and I'll show you the outside. So welcome to the inside of our van on a travel day.
Morning, how you going? Okay, so I guess we'll start from this end here. So basically making sure we obviously have our bed made. We store our TV and our chopping board on the bed, so I will unplug those now and plug them on there. A lot of people have covers for their TV. We just pop ours under the pillow where it's nice and secure, and the cables just get tucked in this pocket here so that they don't bounce around when we're on the road. It just comes off like that.
So there's not too many TVs in caravans that can actually stay permanently mounted. You would need a pretty heavy duty mount, so always take your TV down. Same with your chopping board. One thing we will mention that we don't use is some people would have a microwave. Those used to live here. The microwave dish, either take that out or you can get covers from our navigator gear to protect them as well, because things vibrate in here, they rattle. You don't want that sort of thing to break.
Making sure all the cupboards and drawers are latched. Mark is notorious for not latching his side of the bed.
Yep, guilty.
So I always come through and do that for him. Window shutters, we keep them open so that we don't ruin the magnetic strips.
Yeah, make sure all windows are latched at all points.
Yeah, obviously stove top down, the scrap bin's still out because I've got to empty the scrap bin. Hot water system is off at the switch up here.
Yep.
I always forget this, the fruit basket comes off the wall and just gets stashed in here for trouble so it doesn't swing around, otherwise you end up with lots of mashed bananas.
Yeah, stuff in fusion locks we found can stay in fusion locks, they work really well.
The only time we take these off is if we're on a really corrugated road.
Yeah.
That's about it. Alright, so blinds open here, top hatch is latched and the blinds are open as well.
While I'm looking up, also make sure your antenna is down and stowed. Can't remember the last time we put ours up.
No, it's been a while. That blind is all good down there. I'll do the fridge in a minute. At the moment, just come down to Liam's bunk, making sure all his toys are secure, his blind is open. The top bunk doesn't get touched all that much, so I'm not worried about that. In the bathroom, there, shut the windows. Now I always latch and do up the knobs on the windows. Like I don't just do one or the other. Okay, and then making sure the top hatch is closed as well, nice and secure, because ours tends to pop up if it's not tight. The shower head comes down and just rests in the tub. If we don't have the tub in the bath, I just wrap it in the bath mat and then put it in the base of the bath. So
again, that's if you're driving along, the vibrations pop that shower head out and that drops, you're probably going to either break it or the shower, like ceramic or whatever it's made out of.
That's right. And then I just get our soap and sanitizer and they just go in the sink. That's it in here. It's all done. So the stool won't move, not worried about that. Making sure our inverter is off as well, which it is. Washing machine closed so it doesn't swing open and damage the door on the bunk there. Mark's yet to stow the Starlink, but we'll sort that out. Making sure everything up here is secure so it's not going to fall out in the journey. Checking the toilet hatch is closed. I always just do that with my foot, just use my socks. And making sure the fridge is latched, so I just make sure all of these bars are secure. Sometimes this one comes out, but if I put all the heavy stuff on the bottom, then it's not a problem. The beer can always roll it. And then just making sure you get that nice click as the fridge door latches.
Yep.
And checking the freezer is also latched.
So some brands and some models of fridges actually have like a travel latch at the bottom or at the top. Ours doesn't, ours just clicks, and ours has never opened in normal travel, but we do have bars that we put across it if we're going off-road.
Yeah, alright, and the last thing we do before we exit the van is turn the pump off. And that's it. Hey kiddo.
So the reason for turning the pump off is if anything was to drop and open up one of the taps here, or if a rock flicked up and punctured one of our water pipes underneath, the pump's going to notice that change of pressure, and it's going to run, and it's just going to dump all our water. So if the pumps are off, there's no real reason why we should dump water anywhere.
We don't need to have the pump on anyway. We tend to turn it off when we're not using it or when we're leaving the van, just in case anything happens.
We have recently just heard of someone else where they left their pump on for travel, something opened the tap. They left the drain plug in to stop the smell from the grey water, which we don't have that problem. But it meant to overfill the sink, and they ended up swamping their whole caravan. Yeah, thing of nightmares. So we always just turn the pump off on a travel day, or just in general anyway. All right, we are going to go outside now and start doing the outside close up. Okay, so as you can see, we are packed up. I wasn't going to show you how to pack up. That's down to each individual person, how they pack things away. What I want to show you is how we make sure we are ready for travel. So I've just done 3 of the legs. Just got 1 more now. I still use the old school tool. A lot of people will use a drill or an impact driver. I don't like to do that. I just use the tool. A lot of the time our little fella helps us, so make sure they're latched. We'll tuck that away in a minute. I then go around and I just make sure awnings are all tight. So that is the travel bracket to stop it opening. That's latch closed, and both the awning tensioner and the slider are latched closed. I make sure the window's closed. We'll lock the door just before we leave. Picnic table always needs to go away. I make sure it clicks. And then give it a tug, make sure it's not going to open. Make sure these are all closed. Well, it's locked. That leg's down. Tight, tight. Travel. Just look down the side of the van, make sure there's nothing left open, no windows, no nothing. This is our diesel heater tank on the back. I'll just give that a tug, make sure that's not budging. Again, legs are up. We travel with that grey water open. It's been drained anyway, so it's not like it's going to dump everything. If they spin, they're locked. There are water fill points, our outdoor shower, and then this is where that tool is going to go. The last thing we do is just make sure that all the lockers are locked, and gas bottle is off.
Slightly right, just a tiny bit right. See it, come back. Stop.
Okay, so as you saw, we just reverse up with Clem standing at the back here. Some people don't like having someone stand in behind, but we're pretty confident with what we're doing now. I've got a reversing camera, so I can see pretty clearly where I'm coming up to. Clem is just telling me to stop, or sometimes I need to go a little bit left and right. So yeah, we've got a DO35 instead of the standard 50mm ball coupling. We find this a lot easier to hitch up to, and also it's safer and a lot smoother behind the car. Once that's on, you'll know that it's on if that cap fits over it. I next do the chains. You're always supposed to cross the chains so that it will create a little, I don't know, like a little cage, I suppose, that it would catch the tow ball if it was to drop. So you always cross them. See what you're creating there? If they were next to each other, it's just going to drop on the floor. Here, you're creating something that can catch it. For anyone that's just spotted this, it's one of those anti-rattle hitches. This is a 17-year-old car with a 17-year-old tow bar. I think it's just a little bit loose in there now. This just pulls it all tight, stops it knocking. Once the chains are on, I go for our 12-pin plug. I just give it a check, make sure all the pins look okay, they're not too spread apart or too crushed. This one's our Anderson plug for our fridge. This one's our Anderson plug for charging as we drive. And this one is for our reversing camera on the back of Caravan. done. And just make sure all these are guided nicely. And drop the handbrake. And this little box here is your breakaway. So for whatever reason the Caravan separated from the car, it's going to pull this pin out, apply the brakes to the Caravan. That should always be green to let you know that the battery's got enough charge, and make sure it's unobstructed where you're going to clip it on. You don't want the cables looping over it or anything, you want that to be free. It needs to be connected to something separate to the tow bar, because for whatever reason if the tow bar dropped, I think you've got more problems. But you don't want this connected to the tow bar, it's not going to do its job. So my rear bar is connected straight to the chassis, and then this is just connection for me for ease. And that's it. So we'll take the jockey wheel out now. We never travel with it in its position. It can unwind and then you would cause damage. We've seen others do that. So always take the jockey wheel out. Ours. Love our setup. We can't afford any more tow ball weight, so we can't have a storage box on here, so we use this bag. It holds our grey water hose, spare water hose, and then our jockey wheel. And the little jockey wheel foot. So we just shove that in, zip it closed. Make sure your jockey wheel bracket is tight and secure. We are now connected. So I go through and I do one last walk around. So I'll take it to the front of the car. First thing I do on our checks is make sure the light's not going to show that, but I make sure that our Tow Pro Elite, which is our electric brake controller, is on. So it's blue. I can see that it's on. Mirrors.
Always forget those.
Always forget them. I check over that just from a distance, make sure everything looks right. Gas bottles are off. Legs up. Locker is locked. Brackets. Windows are closed. Foot is up. Foot is up. Everything is latched. Cool. And then this is the last locker because we just need to get the chocks out.
Yep, and usually we switch here.
Yeah, so sometimes we would be on ramps, but we're not on ramps at the moment. So we didn't have to worry about unleveling. You would do that stage now. But we just need to remove the chocks, put them away, lock the front door, and we are ready to drive out of here. And the one more mirror.
Easy done. Alrighty, good to go.
And we're done. That's it. So we've been walking you around for like 15 minutes from full pack up inside, the pack up outside. I didn't show you the pack up, but they closed everything up, latched it all away. We've hitched up, we've done our last walk arounds. We're ready to go off on our next adventure. Where are we headed to today?
Launceston.
Launceston.
Yeah.
Alright guys, we hope that proved helpful for any newbies out there. If you've been caravanning for a while, you might have seen some things that we do differently to you. Let us know. But we think that would be helpful for those newbies because there's a lot to take in when you're first time caravanners.
We wish
So
we
much
knew
to
a lot
think
of this.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched heaps of YouTube videos before we left
did.
and we still got caught out in those early days. So.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching guys. We'll see you in the next video.